Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do something a little bit different than what I've been doing lately. How do you get ready to come in Sunday morning, well prepared, knowing your parts, ready to worship and bring the best that you can bring? I asked myself this question not too long ago, and I was like, Vinny, do you have a plan? Do you have a checklist? Man, I gotta be honest, I did not have that. And I was just, practicing whenever I could. I do have a family. I have 3 children. The weekends are always busy, and I'm trying to figure out when is the best time to practice. So sometimes I squeeze it in, at night on the, Thursday night. That's usually when we get our sets for Sunday. Squeeze in an hour to try to go over the songs and all. But then I was, coming to a place where I would have really great sets and not so great sets, and sets where I really felt the presence of the Lord, and sets just going through the set and being in my head. And I was asking the Lord, I was like, Lord, how can I change that? I want to do better. And so I came up with these 4 points, 4 tips that I want to give to you guys today to really just help you to be better prepared for a Sunday morning set. All right. So trying to figure out what this channel is going to look like. But I think that teaching and talking about things like this are very helpful, and that's definitely my heart. I want to help you guys grow in musicianship and in your love for God and your love for the local church. So here it is. The first point: listen to the song. Just listen. I let that one sit with me for a little bit, because it's so easy to, just to go on a computer, click on the song, plug in the guitar, and just play along with it. And I feel like you can miss so much information of what the song is trying to convey, right? So what I've been doing lately is just listen to the song. I would sit here in my closet, turn on the song, and just listen to it. If there's a video, I'll watch the video. I'll see what, if there's a song story about the song, I'll just listen to that and just let the song sit. Okay, Lord, what are you saying through this song to me? How are you ministering to me through this song? And then I get it specific, right? What I like to do, I go on multi-tracks, the rehearsal mix, that you can go in there. There's a subscription of, I think it's like $15. Totally worth it. If you can invest it, I would definitely recommend that. Just go in there. You can hear the stamps of each guitar. If you're playing alone, you can pick the best parts of both guitars and just do that. Or if you're playing with someone else, you can say, hey bro, you want to play EG1? I'll play EG2. That's always super helpful and very clear as well. And that's what we like to do here. That's what I've been doing. And yeah, so listening to the song, just letting the song sit and listening to the parts. It's very important, because now, like, I've heard someone say one time that songs don't ask permission to get into your heart. They just go in, That's why it's very important to watch what you listen, but that's another story. So letting the song just sit in your spirit, and then listening to the parts and learning the parts, I would say, is the next step. What I like to do is practice unplugged. Just grab your guitar, not have it plugged in. My pedal board is off. I'm listening to the songs. I put it in the right key that I'm gonna play, and I just practice with my guitar. No effects, no overdrives, reverbs, delay, because it's very easy for us to hide behind the effects, right? So if the song is big, there's a big overdrive section, it's very easy for me to come in here and just turn on an overdrive and just go through it. And I feel like when I do that, I miss a lot of nuances of the song that I probably won't hear if I'm just cranked up playing along. So what I like to do is just practice the parts, with my guitar unplugged. And that in itself is really good because it teaches you how to hang, right? How to play without any effects. And that's very, very important because we want to be good at this instrument. We want to be great at what we do for God. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I want to be a good guitar player. Like, I want to be able to, you know, play without my pedal board and be good, you know? So what I like to do, I go over the song a few times, depending on the song. If it's a song that's very hard, I'll take more time. If it's a song that it's fairly easy or a song that I've played before, I'll just go over it a few times. And once I have that, and I feel really good about where I'm gonna play on the neck, if I'm staying up high, I know all the shapes that I'm gonna be playing. I know alternate shapes that I might want to use. And once I have that down, that's when I go into my next step, which is dialing my sound. I feel like that's the time when I start going into my overdrives. And again, because I've listened to the song so many times, I know, you know, what the vibe is. Do I need an aggressive overdrive, or is the song more laid back? Do I need something that it's a little bit more defined instead of dirty, you know, for lack of a better word? And I try to figure that out. So with my board, I don't know if you guys can see it from there. I do have a video on the channel about my board if you want to check it out. So I do have 3 overdrives. I have the Daily Driver, I have a Kilt, and I have a Solo Dallas Storm. So I keep switching them up. Like, I don't have stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3. I try to look at them as different colors. So I might go through a song and just use the Daily Driver throughout the whole song. I might use, you know, like for verses or for the intro, I might use, you know, the boost side of the Daily Driver, and then use the drive side of it for, you know, a chorus or not. The next song, if I feel like I need more, or, you know, it's a song that it's more aggressive, then I might use the Kilt instead of the Daily Driver. I might switch on and off. Does that make sense to you guys? I feel like that's really good because you kind of get to know in depth of what your gear can do for you. And not so much thinking, oh, let me stack this one on top of the other one. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I do stack sometimes, and I know a lot of friends that do that, and that's awesome. I'm not saying not to do that. But what I'm saying is that it's really important for you to know what each pedal carries and what they can represent in the song, right? And when I'm dialing my sound, I look for that to see which overdrives I'm gonna use first, and then I go into my effects. So I do have the Big Sky, the Timeline, and the Mobius, right? You know, almost like essential pedals for worship, right? What I do have that is very helpful is a MIDI controller, which is just a small little box that controls the Big Sky and the Timeline. I just use it to bank up and down and to kind of change the presets, and I just save the songs beforehand. So if I'm gonna play All Hail King Jesus, I know exactly the BPM for it. I go in there, I save the BPMs to the delays that I'm gonna be using for that song. I set the mix for the reverbs that I'm gonna use for that song, and everything's just saved. So it just takes me one tap, you know, to figure out, you know, section from section in the song. So I don't do a lot of tap dancing, and that's very helpful. If you don't have, like, you know, a MIDI controller, I would definitely recommend you to invest in something like that. That's very helpful. And yeah, and once you have your sound dialed in, that's when you really go to town. Now I'm gonna crank my speakers, and you play your guitar, you know the parts, you know exactly where overdrives you're gonna use, how much delay and how much reverb you want to use, and you go to town. You practice through the song until you feel really comfortable, and man, that goes a long way. And guys, my last point, I think it's the most important one. If anything, it could be the first one, it could be all of them, right? The last point is pray. I figured out that the more I pray about the set, the less anxious I become. The more I pray for Sunday morning, the more I get out of it. Like, even if the set didn't go so well, I still feel like the Lord was pleased, that my heart was, pure before God, right? Every time I'm done practicing, I put my hands over my guitar and I put my hands over my pedal board, and I just pray and I say, Lord, these instruments are for your glory. I use this to bless you. I pray that through the guitar, through the effects that I'll be using, people will experience your glory. People will have an encounter with you Sunday morning. And man, believe it or not, that goes a long way. I feel like the Lord, there's a partnership with the Lord when we approach Sunday morning like that. So yeah, guys, I hope this was helpful to you. I'll be posting more things like this, about playing, but also things of the heart. I think it's very important to talk about. And yeah, if this was helpful to you, please don't forget to subscribe. And if there's anything you want to share about it, comment down below. We can start that conversation. I'd love to chat. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.